Hi, my name is Jason Rubo, and I am part of the team behind this final project for EDT 6040. My partner, Eric Santos, will be joining us later to explain some of the other parts of the project. So, me and Eric, both of us teach at Hillside Elementary School in Hillside, and we both teach primarily junior high learning technologies. Uh, the class that we're going to be looking at is an eighth grade class that we both deal with that we teach basic HTML and CSS coding to. If you don't know, HTML and CSS coding is what is used to create websites. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take an assignment that we did last year and expand on it with that visual literacy element added to it. And we're going to go ahead and really develop those learning communities with the use of technology in our classroom. So the students last year created the websites using HTML and CSS, and the assignment was actually where we worked with the ELA teacher at our school, and the students had to create a book review website or a short story review website. They would take a story that they did in their class. They could choose any one, and then from there they would, do a basic website that could give some information on the story if people would be interested in reading it. And with this, they also had different aspects that they had to find. Here's an example that I went ahead and changed the name of the student just so you can see, but they had done theirs on The Monkey's Paw, which is a short story they read. And so some things they had to look up, obviously it was the book title, the author, genre, key characters in the story, key settings, summaries, their favorite part, why they like that part, their book rating that they would give this. They also had to show a place that if someone was interested in purchasing or seeing a full version of it, they had to go ahead and create a link and a QR code to make it more interactive. And then from there, they also had to do a video review of it as well. The nice thing is with this extension, which is HTML editing, you're able to go ahead and type all of your HTML and your CSS on this side of the screen, which you can see here the student has done. And it shows you a preview of it over here. All right? You can go ahead and slide that text out of the way so you can kind of see how it looks once you fully get rid of all that coding and kind of really see what you've created. Here's another example. This is a student that very artistic student. They're, when it comes to drawing, painting, things like that, they've always been more excelled than others, and it kind of was transferring over to their website design. Their color choices, saturation, line work, things like that. Those basic elements that we've talked about with visual literacy, this student is using in their website development. Once again, you can see over here, here's the coding that the student went ahead and typed in. Right? And then over here, this is what that coding then created. And as I said before, this is not done with any type of template. So the students learn all of these different tags with HTML and CSS, and then they use that information to create this book review website or short story review website. What we want to do to change this for next year is to add a movie trailer component to it. What I think this movie trailer will do, one, I think it'll allow students like this who are very artistic to be able to shine even more. I think it'll help us with building a larger learning community within our classroom, because even though the project is individual, they're going to need to work with other students in order to create their actual movie trailers. And then the other thing too is it's going to allow us to connect more with the community outside the school, which are the parents, because we'll be able to go ahead and post all of these on a single Padlet and have all of them there for parents, students to see, administration. It'll just be there as a nice centralized place for everyone to see everything. So with this, they're going to be using a program on iPads, which our school is Chromebook 1-to-1, but then we also have iPad cards. And what we're going to be using those iPads for is actually the program Movie Maker. And Movie Maker actually has two different types of modes that you can use which are just a standard movie. With this, you can go drag, drop clips you've recorded, audio, music, things like that. Or they have a trailer mode, which is the template mode. So what the students are going to do is they're going to have either one of those options. With the trailer mode, it's nice because it does have a kind of a template already there for you. You can choose the backgrounds. Like here, you can see, what type of book was it, things like that. And from there, you go ahead and you'll go and type the information in there. And you'll see as it's creating this trailer right here, you're going to still need to do all the filming. You're going to still need to do all the storyboarding. You're going to still need to do any information that's going to be there with recording also. And that's something we're going to really encourage our students to do, which is record with others. Even though it's a not a group project, we really think this will build those learning communities. The other thing too we want to stress is we're going to really go over the 8 principles we discussed in class with regards to things to look at when it comes to visual literacy, line, saturation, color, things like that, and to think about those things when they are designing these. We're going to use a couple of different movie trailers from different genres to kind of show students, the art of making a trailer. Taking a film that's sometimes hours long and condensing it to a few minutes, to where you're not giving everything away, but you're giving a nice little snippet and trying to get the viewer interested in that movie. So as you see here, the nice thing with iMovie, and this is, like I said, this is the trailer mode, it breaks everything down that you can then put in here, name of it, release dates, things like that, and then has this storyboard that you would go in here, and this is where you're going to drag and drop video or images that you've created. You can go ahead then and add text, as you can see here with this template here. You can change all of these texts, and from there they're going to be able to become really creative and really make it so that they're able to show, using those visual literacy elements we're going to talk about, how to create a trailer that is something that will get people excited about reading that novel. We see here, it also allows them to move things around as well, change things up from the template, so they're not just locked in to a specific thing, which is nice as well. So what we also did was we went ahead and created an example using a book called Skeleton Creek, which is a book I used to do with actually this group of 8th graders we're going to have next year. I actually taught them in 5th grade. I taught them in all subjects, and it just so happened when they moved to 6th grade, I moved to technology in junior high. So this is a book we actually read called Skeleton Creek. And so what I did was I used the template, and I used just images from the internet relating to the novel to create a very basic trailer, which I'll play for you right here. And as you can see, it's got that fear element. This is a ghost story, so it's got that scary element. We're given a taste of what is there, but we're not giving them all of the information. Obviously, we don't want to spoil anything in the trailer, which sometimes movie trailers do. So we'll have to make sure we talk about that as well. And these are all images from the novel as well. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and pass this along to Eric, and he's going to explain some of the other aspects of the project.
Eric Santos here, the second half of our dynamic duo of technology teachers. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the principles underlying our decision to make this improvement to the HTML CSS project. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about Dundas and her visual intelligence um, principles. And so I want to use this quote, which I think is pretty powerful for what we were going for. And it says, everything we see in design is composed of the basic visual elements, the skeletal visual force, crucial to meaning and powerful to response. It is inextricably part of all we see, whatever its nature, realistic or abstract. It is the pure, stripped down visual energy. I think when you take a 60-second clip that's persuading someone to want to read a book or see a movie, that's what you have. You have to use a lot of visuals, a lot of symbolism, realistic and abstract. And so I think it gives students the power to create something meaningful in a short and visually aesthetically pleasing format. And so that was what we wanted to do. We wanted to take something that they were interested in and share it with others, something that they had read, and to persuade others. And I think we do a lot as teachers to teach students how to read persuasive arguments, how to write persuasive arguments, and even how to speak persuasively. This is an opportunity for them to use visuals as a form of literacy and visually persuade others to read a book that they were interested in. There's an element of marketing. So any advertiser knows that their audience attention span is only going to be so long, and so they have to grab their attention as quickly as possible. Middle school students as an audience definitely fit this criteria, and so they have a short amount of time to try to get students, their fellow students, interested in reading their book, and so they have to use powerful imagery to do that. So that was really the basis for what we wanted to do with this assignment. I'm going to scroll down a little bit to some other important parts. Levi has three major types of activity that normally occur, and so I'm going to read those three. First is attention and scanning, then interpreting significant figures and cues, and then finally perceiving global meaning. And I think that's kind of the steps that we want to get across to students. That's generally how people perceive pictures. And so this part that Levi was referring to is picture perception. And I think that's something we want to get across to students. So first of all, how do you grab the audience's attention? What are their eyes drawn to? And then what symbolism, what imagery, what fonts, what colors, what music will you use? And what does that symbolize to the audience? What is that cue? What does that make them feel or think or refer to? And then finally, overall, what is your trailer as a whole give us the idea of? Do we know the genre of the book? Do we maybe get some of the characters, or do we understand some of the plot without giving away too much, but enough to know what this book is really about, and without giving away so much that we don't feel the need to read it? And I think one of the best ways that we're going to accomplish that is by giving them an opportunity to watch movie trailers together, giving them a chance to see the example book trailer that we've put together, and to put them in the role of an audience member and talk about, hey, what do you see? What grabs your attention? What's significant and symbolic to you? What meaning did you get from this? Okay, well, here's why. Here's how the person who produced this purposefully created that imagery and those visuals and that audio in order to invoke that in you. And so then that will in turn hopefully give the students some of the power to say, okay, well, now I get it. I'd like to now be able to do that myself. And that's where we give them some of those 8 visual literacy principles, and we start arming them with some of the tools to make that happen. And obviously the technology helps. So that was really the spirit of what we wanted to do. We wanted to give students an opportunity to express themselves, to create something persuasive, visually appealing, in a format that they like, and that they can give and get feedback on with each other easily and quickly, and be able to create something memorable. So assessing this then, in assessing it, we decided that it would be best to create a separate rubric, because really this is not a short, quick project. This is something they're going to take some time and actually create a storyboard, get feedback, develop maybe a draft or two, and consistently work on iteratively. And so we felt it was appropriate to create a rubric that was unique just to this part of the project, kind of a project within the greater project that they're doing. And secondly, I think that gives us the opportunity to decide, how successful was this portion? Is it something we want to keep in the project in the future? Is it something we should change and adapt? So we started with a pretty simple rubric with just three criteria. Presentation is going to talk about how well were they able to just grab the audience's attention, make a smooth, professional looking trailer with good transitions that holds our attention. Secondly, we're looking at attractiveness. So were they able to use colors and fonts that set the right tone, that matched and didn't clash with one another? Did they pick good graphics and good effects uh, that livened up the presentation without seeming overdone or taking attention away from the content? And what was this overall persuasive? Did it all come together to create some kind of global meaning? And then finally, the fundamentals. So, can we clearly see, or can I talk to the student and hear and understand that they know at least some of the 8 fundamentals that we talk about with visual literacy? Can they point out points where they used a specific strategy, and or maybe talk about where they wish they had or what they would improve, what strategy they could use differently. So just really saying, do they get the fundamentals of visual literacy on a really basic level, for 8th graders? So, in addition to that formal assessment, we'll of course be doing a little bit of informal, just talking with students and seeing, what are your strengths in this area? What did you struggle on? Where did you need more support? Just kind of overhearing their own conversations and getting a little feedback from them on what they liked and didn't like about this project. And really, another good factor to consider is, were they persuaded by each other's trailers? Is anyone going to actually go grab one of these books as a result of seeing this that they otherwise may not have grabbed that book? I think that alone is a pretty strong indicator of the value of this particular project. So that kind of sums up our theoretical principles for choosing this assignment, as well as the assessment that we're going to use to determine if it was successful.